Alright, how is it going everyone? Welcome back to another Web Dev Junkie video. In this one, I was kind of diving through my GitHub repositories. I have like a bunch of random projects in there, and I found this one repo that had a ton of random like HTML, CSS projects that I worked on when I was first learning to code, and also like within the first year of me graduating college. And this is one of the cool gems that I found. It's a ring. So it's a 3D ring made out of divs. So these are all divs that have the alphabet in them, and I can use my keyboard's left arrow and right arrow to kind of cycle through them. So looking back now, like, this is, I think I made this like 5 or 6 years ago, but just like the knowledge that I had that long ago with doing like 3D computation and trying to figure out how to display stuff like this, I'm actually quite impressed, because like I tried to go back and recreate this to kind of make a video on it, because I couldn't find where the code was, and then I actually I couldn't figure out how to recreate it. I spent a couple of hours like reading about 3D parametric equations for creating great circles around a sphere, and then how to rotate them and stuff, and I couldn't quite figure out how to get it perfect. But luckily I did come across this project, and this is what we're looking at here. So I thought it was really cool, and I figured I would show it all off to you all, and maybe it would inspire you all. Again, this is all HTML and CSS. There's no like 3D libraries. I think I have like a vector library maybe installed, just so I can do some vector computations. But so in a nutshell, if you guys are interested in knowing how I did this, I have a function. I'll kind of just walk through top to bottom. And again, this code is so foreign to me. This is 5 years ago. I don't really know. Like you can even see there, it says my name 5 years ago. And I think honestly, it was even longer than 5 years, because I think I had it locally on my laptop, and I finally put it in a repo like a while back. Anyway, I'm just rambling. So the first thing you see here, I have a function that you can pretty much get a random color back. So it gives you like a hex value of 6 characters. And this is something I copied from Stack Overflow. Like you can just Google how to get a random color in JavaScript, and this will come back. And that is how I am randomly styling the divs. So if you notice, every time I refresh, the divs have a different background color. So that's really easy to get going. And then as far as like getting the random alphabet characters that are in the divs, I got another method called getRandomLetter. So that's, I give myself some props for naming my functions very explicitly, because getRandomLetter, you can assume what it does. It just returns you a random letter. And then getLetter, looks like it just basically gives me a letter from my alphabet at an index. So, but the cool thing, the most important aspect of this project, the interesting part I would say, is the actual formula. So if you actually search online and try to find a parametric equation for creating a greater circle on a sphere, or maybe it's called a great circle, but basically a circle that goes all the way around the sphere with the largest radius possible, I think, you end up coming down to this equation here. So you basically get x is equal to the radius times math assigned. I'm not going to read it out to you all. You guys can look at this, but the equation is pretty cool, and you can kind of change it around to change the rotation. So up here I have phi. So if I change this to like divided by 6, you'll notice that the sphere actually rotates some. I could do like divided by 8. That'll change it as well. I could do divided by 2 to make it vertical. And there's like different ways you can kind of make this ring, I guess. I must have been playing a lot of Halo when I actually made this or something. I see some Halo inspiration in this project. All right, anyway, let's go back to what it was before. I think there's some other things you can do to change it. Yeah, so y degree, I can change this, and that'll rotate it differently. So you see here that it kind of changed the tilt of the sphere. So a lot of cool stuff going on here. But again, yeah, it's just like, I just give myself kudos. I'm actually like really proud of this project, because like thinking back 5 or 6 years ago, I just graduated from college, and I'm assuming I kind of did this because I was inspired, because I was working with like data that was related to the globe, and so I was kind of like thinking the mindset of like spheres and how do you like write data onto a 3D sphere. And also in college, like I think during my senior year, I took a class about 3D programming, so that was probably still fresh in my mind. I know in like physics 2 or 3, you end up having to do like integrals or derivatives over like 3D shapes. So there's a lot of stuff that I think I learned from college that helped me be able to build this out and not have too much issue with it. So the gist of this code is I basically generate a bunch of divs. I'm calling them planets, and I loop through them one by one and increment I think a theta. All right, yeah, so right here, depending on how many planets I have, I increment a theta for each point in the ring, and I kind of just figure out where the X, Y, and Z location. Now I am using HTML and CSS, so if you think about what a Z location is, it's actually the size of the div. So there's no 3D going on here. It's really just this div, depending on the Z, is going to be either really small or really large. And the closer it is to you, the larger the div is going to be, the more width and height. If you look here, you can see I'm actually using jQuery. This is back when I was using jQuery for everything. And I know people hate a lot on jQuery, but to be honest with you, like, there's a lot of great helper functions on jQuery, like planet.animate. This is why I can click left and you see all those things just kind of move. What else do I have? I think there's some stuff I had to figure out with z-indexing because like some of these divs were overlapping incorrectly with other divs. Yeah, I'm looking like I'm scaling them based on the Z, so that's where that logic happens here. And then of course down here I have my keystroke listener, so when I press left or right, it's going to rotate the planets in a particular direction. I'm wondering if I can create more planets. So do I have... Here. I probably would have pulled this out into a constant called like number of planets. If I was looking back at this project now, today, and I would put this as like, let's try something big like 50 and see what happens. All right, so now we got a ton of divs, but you can't actually see the lettering, so let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then finally, you can see I'm doing some like Three.js. I brought in Three.js just so I can do some matrix multiplication. I think rotate the sphere a little bit. So that's again what I'm using Y degree and X degree for. I don't know if X degree does anything. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought I'd share this with you. I have a couple of other projects in this folder as well that I kind of want to just make a video about and kind of share to you all the cool things that I used to build in my spare time because I didn't have a life. That's not true. I did have a life, but I just really like tinkering with stuff. And this is one of the things that I tinkered with. Let me go back and fix that. 26, because that's how many characters are in the alphabet. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up this little video. Again, this isn't a tutorial, this is just me sharing some stuff that I built in the past. If you like this video and you like my channel, be sure to like and comment and subscribe because it helps my channel grow, which means that I can make more videos and give them all to you. Alright, later all. Thanks for watching.